Recording button.
Hi guys, it's Tim again. Uh, I am back with a new series. Uh, this time, I am going to focus on how to stay motivated when learning to play the saxophone. And the reason why we're going to talk about this today is when I heard that YouTube video some more, you know, uh, uh, about a young girl. I, I'm not sure how old she is, but it was on YouTube here. She was learning to play the saxophone, and when it wasn't quite getting the sound that she wanted, she got really frustrated in the end, and she said, "It's not doing it. It's not working. How do I do this? How do I make this work?" Well, first things first, a saxophone is an instrument that is controlled by you, by your own voice, by your own voice box. And the saxophone uses the reed, and it converts your voice into a saxophone voice. But what we're going to talk about is how to stay motivated when learning. I know it can be really hard to blow your first note, but especially if you're really young and learning the instrument, and especially if you played another instrument like the piano, where you don't have to blow into it, because the piano, you don't blow into that, of course. You play on the keyboard. Of course, I had access to a piano when I was really young, from the 1980s to the 1990s, before I got my saxophone. In my lifetime today, at age 35, and I am totally blind, and I've been playing for 4 months now, and boy, do I love my saxophone. And excuse me. And in this video, I'm going to describe to you the basics of this particular saxophone that I have here. I'm going to describe to you who makes it, and I can't really describe to you the specifications of it, because I can't see as far as the weight. But I'm going to assume that it's like, well, all I can tell you that it is the alto saxophone, and 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 it's and it's a student model, and this is first, and it's a really high quality student model alto saxophone. It's very high quality, very powerful. It has a lot of things that it has a lot of features that really help out a beginner like myself, who is blind, really feel um, what you're doing on the instrument itself. And I'm going to describe to you. But first of all, before we get into all of that, who makes it, who does it, what they do to test it, and all that stuff, I'm going to give out a big shout out to James from the Hello Saxophone YouTube channel. His tips were really helpful as far as getting started. Of course, I work with a saxophone teacher locally here in the Portland, Oregon area, once a week, every Thursday. So her and I have a good working relationship, and we are and she is amazed at how I can learn stuff by ear very, very fast for not being able to see. But that's a different topic that I'm not going to discuss right now. So anyway, let's focus on the first issue that a lot of beginners face as far as staying motivated when learning to play the saxophone. Okay, the first thing is when you feel the instrument, it may seem a bit large to hold, especially if you are a small person, especially if you are the kind of person who's used to playing the piano and keyboard. So, my advice is to, see your saxophone as an instrument that is very fun to, really touch, even though it's not around your neck yet. Allow yourself to really feel what it feels like in your hand. Allow yourself to, I would suggest go down to a music store first and really feel what the saxophone feels like in your hand, which is what I did. I went down to the Portland Music Company here in Portland, and I got to feel what a saxophone feels like from a blindness perspective. That's the first step that you want to do, and that will help you and your parents make an informed decision whether to get your kids into wanting to learn how to play the saxophone. And also, second thing is the keys on the saxophone here are very tactile. And this is really great, especially if you have a vision impaired son or daughter. All of the keys on the saxophone are really awesome because they have, because as you can hear, they have tactile feedback, and they allow a blind person to really feel the keys, and they all stick out and they all have dents in them. And this is really, really useful for us, especially in the blind and low vision community. So I would advise you to really get a feel for the keys. Feel how the keys are laid out, and really allow yourself to experience, the saxophone firsthand and feel the keys. Feel the keys on it, and this will definitely help you make an informed decision. Oh, should I try this out, or should I really, is it worth learning, and absolutely it is worth learning, because the keys are very, very easy to feel, especially if one cannot see them. If you cannot see them, the keys are very, very easy to feel. And it's a very intuitive instrument, especially for a blind person to play. It's very intuitive, very intuitive. And, okay, well, and let's move on to the third. And this is where we come to blowing your first note. I know in my last video, I discovered I did a video on the vibration features of the saxophone. Now, this is really something that a lot of people skip, and I don't know why they skip this feature. Maybe it's logical to skip it, but this is something that's very important, especially if you have a blind son or daughter who is learning the instrument. This is very important. The saxophone allows us to, and also this feature may be beneficial for sighted people. I don't want to leave those out.
Authentication. Login panel.
This feature is beneficial to anybody, regardless of whether they're blind or fully sighted. This feature allows us to really get a feel for the note that we are playing. And what I mean by that is, well, I can't show you right now because it's really late right now here in Portland, and I don't want to wake anybody up at night. It's very late right now, so I don't want to blow into it right now as far as waking somebody up. That's next door to me. So I will describe to you briefly. I will describe to you the feature, this feature, and you can watch my previous video about the saxophone from a blindness perspective. What this feature does, it allows us to really feel what that note really feels like in the palm of your hand. Even though you may not be able to hear that note, or even if you can hear the note, even if you can't see the note or read a note, you can very easily feel the vibration of that note because the saxophone itself vibrates. And you can very easily feel the vibration of your own note. And this is very useful for first-time beginners. This is very useful because the saxophone is showing you, the instrument itself is showing you what note you are blowing into, because it vibrates really hard, because it's showing you, okay, this is the note that you are playing. And even though you can't see it, this feature is especially useful to blind people and sighted people alike. And this feature, again, like I said in my last video, and I'll say it again, this feature possibly would be beneficial to kids, I believe. In fact, absolutely it would, because it allows young first-time beginners to really feel their own note, because whether it's on the instrument or whether it's on your voice box, you can very easily feel your own note being played. Whereas other instruments may not allow you to feel that note. The saxophone allows you to really feel and understand what you are doing. Understand what note you are playing. And this also has to do with understanding your instrument, how it vibrates, how it gets the sound, where the sound comes from. And that sound not just comes from the horn itself, but it also comes right from your voice box directly, because the reed converts your voice box into a saxophone voice, because it transmits from your voice down to the horn. And you can feel that note on your voice box, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm putting my right hand on my voice box, and I'm showing you, as I talk, the vibration of my own voice. And you can very easily feel the note that you are playing. Don't just hear the note, but feel that note in your mind. Feel it with your hands, as well as imagine in your mind what that note feels like by the vibration. And this will alleviate a lot of frustration that a lot of kids are experiencing right now when they're learning the saxophone. This feature will alleviate a lot of frustrations, especially if you are a first-time beginner and aren't sure how to get your first note out, or you're just starting to get your first note out. This feature is very beneficial. Very beneficial. So if you take these steps into consideration, this will help you immensely as far as learning more about your instrument, learning more how to stay motivated. And this will help you to really focus more on getting that first note out. I know that a lot of people skip the vibration features, but that's why I'm here to cover it, especially for first-time beginners that may not know about this feature. But anyway, so if you take these steps into consideration, this will really, really help you in staying motivated enough to continue to learn the saxophone. Okay, well, now I'm going to describe the saxophone to you, the type of saxophone that I have. It is a student model saxophone, and it's very good for a student model. I know when I watched the Hello Saxophone video while I was at work yesterday about a couple of cheap student model saxophones sounding crappy. This one is a very powerful one. You know, not just my voice in general, but it is very well made. It is very well designed, and this saxophone is manufactured by a company called Eastman Music Company. They manufacture saxophones, and they do a really good job at it. This is one of the manufacturers that do a really good, awesome job testing out musical instruments before they ship them to their new customers, to their new beginning saxophone, saxophonists that are progressing, that are really doing well on the saxophone. So this one is manufactured by Eastman Music Company. I'll go ahead and get the case out, and it's right here on my dresser. I'll go ahead and get it out. I will go ahead and get it out here briefly. I'm just going to untwist my neck strap a little bit so it's not twisted, so it's not pressing on the clip, so my clip doesn't come off, because that's the last thing I need. That's the last thing I don't need. Okay, let's get this out. I will show you the manufacturer who makes it. Let's get the clip over here. Or let's get the case out. I will get this out here. I'll see what I can do to put this close enough to where you can see it. Okay, I got the case out here. All right, so this one is, I will put it up close to the computer right here so you can see it. This here you are. This is manufactured by Eastman Music Company, a very well-known manufacturer of this particular saxophone that I have here. It's very high quality, very well made, very well put together. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love my saxophone, and I'm really happy that I got a saxophone to play with and really enjoy playing it out in the community. And I will describe to you how I got my saxophone here. Let me put it back on my dresser here carefully. And I'm walking around with the neck strap around my neck, like one of my saxophone friends do. I imagine soon after this, I'll probably be getting some saxophone friends here on YouTube pretty soon. But okay, put this aside. Come on. Come on. You're partially hanging off my dresser now. That's not good. Okay, let's put this over here. There we go. And it's a really awesome strap that comes with the case, and it works really well, especially if you are going to walk on the bus with it, with your saxophone in the case. It's really, really great. Anyway, now I'm going to describe to you how I got my saxophone. I was eligible for resources as a blind person as far as getting hooked up with a saxophone. Now, how I got it was, I'm sure many of you have heard of The Kid and Nick. And this is a band, I think they're from Los Angeles, California, I believe. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're from Los Angeles, California. He plays the saxophone. I went to Seven Feathers Casino and Resort, and I met him there, and he saw me wearing a Mindy a Bear shirt, which I'm a big supporter of, and I'm really good friends with her, by the way. And she knows that I'm a member of the saxophone playing community now, because I play the saxophone on my spare time here when I'm not working. So, but yeah, Mindy a Bear is also a saxophonist, and that's what inspired me to want to play a saxophone. And anyway, Kirk Tracy and I met in October of 2017, and he saw me with my Mindy a Bear shirt on, and that really impressed him. And I asked him about the saxophone, and he allowed me to blow into it, and I was so happy instantly. And he said to me, well, Tim, if you're interested in getting a saxophone, I can hook you up with one and some lessons, in your area. And I was so happy. And guess what? That is when this all started. I got this saxophone for free, actually. It was for free. He hooked me up with it, and he went through Eastman Music Company that tests out saxophones before they ship them out, again, to their newborn saxophonists like myself, who are learning and are making it sing within 3 to 4 months, like I did. And this one is Eastman Music Company's student model alto saxophone, and it's very high quality. It's and anyways, they tested them out. They tested this one out to make sure that it is in good condition before they send them out to their new customers. And I got mine brand new, and it was free, brand new. And I was so happy. I was jumping up and down. I couldn't be happier when I received the horn. And and that's who makes this one, this particular saxophone. So okay. Well, if you have any comments, feel free to comment here. Comments are welcome. Okay, well, I hope this series was really helpful for you in staying motivated, in continuing to play the saxophone, and I will talk to you guys soon.
Dimmed with QuickTime Player, movie recording window, stop recording button.